I'm gonna apologize in advance if my backflips are kind of low today because it's like cold and I'm not feeling the greatest today. I was just bored, so I decided to do a backflip tutorial. Let's go. What's up guys, David here, bringing you a backflip tutorial. A lot of people have asked me for this because when people see me doing flips, they're like, oh that's cool, do a backflip. And a lot of people want to learn it because it just looks cool. Anyway, it's really scary because you're going over backwards and your body's like, no, that's terrible and scary. Well, there are ways to progress over it, mainly by not going backwards. It makes sense, just trust me. I figured I'd be able to make a pretty good backflip tutorial, seeing as I was terrified by it, so I can pretty much root out every fear you have, because for the longest time I thought if I wasn't able to learn any move, it'd be the backflip. And here I am. Easy. You're probably going to want to do all these progressions somewhere soft. Like, this is a bad example. I just know what I'm doing, so I filmed it in the closest possible spot. My yard, because I have no problem anymore. Wow, that was really sideways. But, my shadow. Sorry. Anyway, you're going to want to do it somewhere soft, like sand or wood chips, or soon we're going to have snow. Snowbanks are great. I love snowbanks. I can just do so much into them. But yeah, leaf pile, snow, sand, wood chips, mats if you have them. By all means, if you have access to a gym, use the gym. I didn't have access to a gym, so I had to learn it on the grass. Thank God I didn't have to learn it this time of year, because this is like concrete, but with more bumps. It sucks. While there are many progressions, I don't think many of them are helpful. Namely the back roll. That just looks about like... because that's a whole lot different than the backflip. And honestly, if you don't know how to do a forward roll, you probably won't be able to figure it out very well. And it's just... there's so many more easy progressions. And that's what I'm going to teach you today. Starting with the back handspring. Now don't worry, because you're not starting with a full-blown back handspring. That would just be ridiculous. You're going to start off with a really weird, like, back handspring's half-retarded cousin. Now, the way you're going to start is you're going to sort of put your hands back to one side, whichever way you find more comfortable. If you like going this way, then put it on the left side. If you like going that way, putting it on your right side. I like going this way, so I'm going to put them over here for the tutorial. Modify it as you see fit. So you can pretty much start in a low crouch like this. Put both your hands sideways like that, and then just try to whip your legs around. It's not at all like a backflip, but trust me, we're getting there. Once you can do that, what you want to do is instead of starting with your hands on the ground, you want to put your hands on the ground as you're doing it, sort of like this. If you still can't see where this is headed, that's alright, because I didn't at first either. But that's besides the point, because now we're going to try and start getting higher and more straight back. Not as scary as it sounds, trust me. Just start in a slightly less low crouch, and try to, instead of going straight to the side, have a little bit of backward motion, like this. That wasn't so bad, was it? Sorry if that last bit was a little slanted, my tripod's broken. Got my hands in my pockets because it's cold. The ground is hard. Don't feel stupid if this takes like a long time, because you're not just going to be able to go from straight into, because like I said before, that would be pretty ridiculous. But the next progression after that is to lay on the ground and tuck your knees. like this. If you didn't feel silly doing the last progression, you're definitely going to feel silly doing this one. Get away, Shadow. Anyway, the next progression deals with the tucking part of the backflip. Now that we have the going back over motion, at least to a degree, you're going to practice just bringing your knees up to your chest and tucking, because that'll get you used to the idea that when you're in the air, bring your knees up, tuck, and then let go. This one's a lot easier than the other one because it doesn't take any skill. It's just training muscle memory. So just sit and practice that a bunch. Maybe swing your arms up first like you're going to be doing on the backflip. You sort of have to bring your arms down when you do that though, which you will not be doing in an actual backflip, because in the backflip you throw your arms up, you bring your knees up to your chest, you keep rotating over, and then you just grab your knees as they come over. So it's not the most accurate, but it helps getting you to tuck. Now for the actual form. On the backflip, you're going to want to jump. It does help to set first. That little bounce helped me a lot in the start. And I think it'll help you too. But what you want to do is you want to set, arms behind you as you're bending down. Not with your torso, I mean with your legs. You go like that. You don't get anywhere. You want to try and bend with your torso straight. And then just jump straight up. That's another progression too, just getting your jump height. Now what you don't want to do is, you don't want to bend too low. You don't want to be like all the way down here, because then going back up, you have to work against gravity a whole lot more, and yourself. Since you're so low to the ground, you just killed all your momentum, and that's not good for you. Because then, if you try it like this, you'll feel it's a lot harder and you don't get nearly as much height. You don't want to bend your legs too little, because then you can feel that too. You get no height. Know what I'm saying? So just try to get it so that it's in the middle. Just train your jumps by yourself, because you probably feel stupid like I do right now with all these people around. Thank God most of them are in a building. But train your jumps by yourself somewhere, and just try to find that middle ground where you're not too straight-legged, but you're not too bent either. Just keep working on it till you find a really good middle spot. Alright? Now when you're in the air, a lot of people like to look straight back, because that just makes sense, because you see the ground sooner if you're looking straight back like that, and you just feel safer like that. I mean, that's okay initially, but once you're sort of over the fear of it, you don't want to do that, because it kills a lot of your rotation. Because when you look back, it arches your spine, and you don't rotate as good as if your spine is like this and in a ball, and you're just going through the air like this. Let's recap. Good? Not good. Now, it's actually harder than you think, initially at least, to grab your legs and tuck when you're upside down in the air. Keep looking back. When you're upside down in the air, to grab your knees and tuck. This is easier if you kind of look down at your knees. The only downside is you can't see the ground coming. So, yeah, like that. So I try to find a middle ground between looking at my knees, and looking up. Generally about looking straight forward is what helps me most. So, yeah, looking straight forward is about what helps me most, just chin out. As for the actual flip, like we practiced, jump up, Except now, instead of just jumping straight up, obviously you're gonna go back a little bit. And as you're going back, once your chest is pretty high and like parallel, that felt really silly. Once your chest is high and parallel, you want to sort of bring your knees up using your abs and then catch them with your hands and then rotate over. Now your first backflips will not look like this. That's just guaranteed. They'll probably look something more along the lines of this, with your arms out to the side, because I don't want to grab my knees, that's scary. That's probably about how they're going to start, but that's okay, because once you're over the fear, modifying the form is so much easier. For the first few actual backflips, where you stop doing this and start trying to actually tuck and not put your hands down, it's going to be scary. I didn't even do it on the ground, and I was pretty good at handsprings at the time because I practiced them so much. I was almost going straight back. I was getting a lot of height, but I didn't want to try it on grass. I didn't want to try it on sand. I didn't want to try it on wood chips. I didn't go until I tried it on a mat. You might be able to do it without the mat, but I was so scared. I was so freaking scared of it. I needed a mat. One of those high jump mats too, like this high. I was just on it and trying it. Trampolines too. Trampolines are good for getting over the fear. Not for form, for fear. Because on a trampoline, you know, you're probably going to be okay. Don't feel stupid if you have to progress with the handsprings on a trampoline. That's what I had to do initially. But yeah, trampolines help you get over the fear of going backwards too. And then once you've done backflips on a trampoline and you're feeling pretty fancy, you can move it to like a big pile of sand or a nice snowbank or mats if you have them. Mats preferably. Mats are good. And then once you're feeling confident there, just move it outside and try your best to use the proper form. Bending your legs about half, chest to the sky, looking about straight ahead the whole way through, bringing your knees up and grabbing them, and then just landing. That was really bad. So, there's your backflip tutorial. Hopefully this will help you backflip, get over the fear of it especially, because it was more getting over the fear of it that I talked about than the actual like form. But I hope it helped. I hope you'll be able to backflip by the time you're done. Okay, not done with this video. It took me about a month to backflip after figuring out a progression, but I hope it helped. I hope it helps any friends you might show. I don't know. If you wanted to, if you want more tutorials on other stuff like the side flip, or the front flip, mine are low today, don't judge me, or anything else. If you want more tutorials, just like, share, let me know in the comments or whatever, because I do my best. I know there's better tutorials out there. I'm just trying to help. That's what I do. Now I'm going to show you a backflip from a few different angles. All of the angles actually, because I think that will help you. At least looking at me, seeing what I do, if you're later on trying to flip and you're like, what am I doing wrong? You can look at this and be like, oh, David said that, right. I'm going to put some of them in slow-mo too, if that helps.
Work it, make it, do it, makes us harder, better, faster, stronger. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger, more than ever.